it's an honor and pleasure to have you as the jury chair of the BW People Learning and Development Awards. If I may say that, you're being the jury chair and leading the jury, the winners that we've decided, and it is representative of what's happening in the industry. So thank you for doing the jury chair honors. And I'd like to start with you. As a CEO, do you think learning is a continuous inbuilt mechanism? Because if you don't learn, you will not be in sync. So what do you do as a CEO to be able to stay ahead of the game, to learn new things? We'd like to know from you.
Dr. Batra, first of all, I would like to compliment you and the BW People team for putting together this award jury process in a very professional manner. I was privileged to be part of that. In the process, I also learned quite a few things. That as a practicing business managers, listening to my fellow jury members as well as the nominees, I had the opportunity to pick up quite a lot of things. So the answer lies there. That is, you cannot stop learning at all. In one of our other interviews, I had quoted this, it is Mahatma Gandhi's words. That is, your life should be fashioned in such a manner that you learn continuously as if you are going to live forever. Therefore, I tell all my fellow colleagues, employees, acquaintances, or when I go to the colleges for giving lectures, what I state is that as a youngster, please go ahead and spend. First of all, do not go ahead and buy some house on a EMI and tie yourself to some kind of a life. Please spend money to go to various places, buy a lot of books and learn. This should never stop. Because that is I believe in the principle that everyone has some potential. Everybody is entitled to come up in life. And therefore, we should create an environment where people continue to learn. And today, thanks to the technology, unlike those days when I grew up, that there was no internet, it's a book and the schools were the only medium. Today, the opportunities are plenty. And I know you are a voracious reader and you continue to learn. And every time I interact with you, I learn. And I can tell you that in the past 15-20 minutes of my interaction before we started talking, I learned a few things. It should be a continuous process. That is what keeps me energetic.
You're being very kind, Mr. Thiagarajan. It's called intuition. You have the intuition about making the right choices. And then you have the curiosity, and by doing and interacting with other people, we do pick up things. And your advice to young people is absolutely right. Invest in learning, and books are still the best way because, there is a certain imprint the written word has on your mind and it stays with you. Now, let me shift gears. We are doing this conversation 11 months into Corona. The future of work looks very different than it was a couple of months back. Today, we have the choice of either being physical or being online. We are moving in a hybrid economy. What do you think will stay and what do you think will go away?
I think everything is going to change and it will continue to evolve. And at the same time, my own experiences, many people will not agree. There are a few things, there is endurance. It will continue to coexist, especially in a country like this. That the example I state is that, look, books are there and you have Kindle and you do have online reading in many other ways. I don't think books are going to go away. Now I am coming to the newspaper itself. people proclaimed that the end of newspaper, but it is not. I am sure that newspaper will be there at least for another century. The things have to coexist. The best of the best who are the digital I tell this to my friends actually. The digital enterprises, if you look at it, they advertise extensively in television. They are not advertising digital. You look at the billboards, many of the billboards are occupied by the digital companies. Why is it so? I think it will coexist. And in that context, what is going to remain? I think I'm talking from India's context. I think we will become digitally proficient much more. The enterprises will invest in digital technologies much more. India will play an active role in enabling the world digitally. Already we are doing. I think we will do much more. I think the consumption will be very high. We will be on a very historic economic growth. And in this cycle, you are going to find it difficult to find talent. Therefore, that connects back to the BW People L&D Awards itself. We are going to be on a treadmill to produce talent. And for doing that, also you need digital. Yesterday, in the jury process, we saw quite a few digital examples, how people are leveraging digital technologies for imparting training to the people and the development at various levels. That is going to continue. Classroom trainings also will exist. I don't think we are going to do away with it.
So you're saying it's not an either or, it's an and, it's a continuum. And at different points of time, maybe we may use both the available options. So the hybrid economy is here to stay. That's what Mr. Thiagarajan is saying. Now, because it's an L&D forum, it's a human resource fraternity that we have today amongst us. I want to ask you, what kind of skills, courses do you think corporate India needs to invest into? Of course, it depends from industry to industry, sector to sector. But as the CEO of such a large organization, what do you think needs to be done to be able to retool, re-equip your senior leadership and people across the organization for this new hybrid economy?
I'm a strong advocate of versatility. The leaders have to be versatile. You should not be a unidimensional leader. Things will continue to evolve. Say, let's say you're a marketing person. You should be. You should not be an engineering goods only. You should not be FMCG only. I'm specializing. You should not be only the conventional distribution network. You should be a master of e-com as well as conventional distribution. For example, I'm telling you. So therefore, more you become versatile, you will be succeeding. Similarly, I'm also of the view, because HR fraternity will be part of this forum, I think the line managers should be sound in HR as well. HR professionals also should be becoming line managers. So the job rotation and job enrichment is important. And you should be versatile, not specialize yourself. That worked at some point of a time. I think future demands that I can be, because the jobs are going to be plenty. And in selecting people for those jobs, you should be looking for leaders who are versatile. To me, the foremost thing is that how I adapt myself to new things, therefore I continuously learn.
Fantastic. So you're saying a journalist attitude, I mean journalist meaning GENERALIzed, and picking up skills which make you an all-rounder, versatile, and give you an appreciation of every function of the organization, so that we are able to work together as a team. And you rightly said, HR leaders need to become functional managers. They need to lead businesses. And there are some, I can think of Mr. Santrup Mishra, who now leads the business for the Aditya Vikram Birla Group. My friend Rahul Taneja, the investment firm for the Ruyas, they both had long stints in HR before they took on this business role. So I fully agree with you that HR managers should try to be CEOs. My last question, how do you think is the relationship between the CEO and the HR head change in the last few months, especially in the Corona time, because it meant resizing the organization, having more conversations with colleagues. So do you think the role of HR, the role of learning development, and the role of HR in learning and development function overall gone up in the last 10, 11 months?
Yes, Dr. Batra. Before that, to the last question, I want to add one more input. Like, for example, even in addressing the gender diversity, there are conventional thinking that a manufacturing job, whether it could be done by a lady, that's you will not come across in India. The head of manufacturing, there is adequate diversity out there. I am of the view that this is one area as a country we should work as the manufacturing is reviving. We should go ahead and produce leaders in those areas as well. It is not, this job certainly can be done by men kind of. So in that context also, there is a lot of work that needs to be done. Therefore, the women leaders also should come forward to think that I will prepare myself for jobs that are going to be scarce, jobs that are going to offer enormous opportunities in the future. So like for example, I'm saying that you will find in ITES, a lot of women managers are there. They are shining in their field. Banking, financial services, you find. I am of the view that there will be a lot of manufacturing jobs that will be opening up. And I think they will be equally competent and equally successful in that. So that's a request that I would like to place, both the potential employees as well as the HR practitioners as well as the business leaders. Now, I am of the view everything should not be looked at from the pandemic point of view. I think a pandemic has accelerated certain transformation process. What was the conventional HR thing? Then when I started my career in 1979, it is to the large part of the HR job is actually handling the unions. The industrial relations was the very large part. Then it is the question of HR administration. Then it became talent acquisition. That is how you will go ahead and hire. Now, India is not left behind. That is the practices that are happening here are on par with the West. The best of the countries, we will be able to demonstrate that India as a country has evolved in all facets, whether it is learning and development, look at compensation benchmarking, look at the internal branding, employee engagement initiatives. It has come a long way. I think the HR managers across the country have done a phenomenal job in that. My compliments to them. And even at the board level recruitments, if you look at it, the nomination remuneration committees have evolved well. There are good processes that are put in place even to evaluate the working or non-working independent directors board as a whole. So therefore, the process was set in motion much before the pandemic. The pandemic has accelerated that. Now, what is the relationship or the process between the CEO and the CHRO? First of all, compared with the last decade, I think alignment in terms of corporate strategy. Yesterday we saw quite a few CHROs explaining how they are aligned to the corporate strategy itself. We also learned that the balanced scorecard of the CEO has few important elements of HR itself. Most importantly, learning and development was part of the balanced scorecard of the CEO itself. My frank view is whether the CEOs devote equal amount of time with a CHRO as he would do with the marketing or manufacturing function. It may differ from business to business. There are some businesses which are people intensive businesses. There he may be doing it. And if my assessment is in terms of succession planning, I think we have to do much more work. The CEOs should be making it as an institutionalized process. There are some companies who are doing extremely well. There are many companies not. And that is one area that we should be looking at it as well. And but on the whole, the HR professionals and the CXOs have managed the HR issues phenomenally well during the pandemic period. If you look at it, it came all of a sudden. You have to cope with the business demands. You have to cope with the personal demands, aspirations of the people. I didn't see, a commotion and dissatisfaction. Everyone worked together, and that is why I think Indian economy could bounce back. And in the journalism itself, I know for sure that it is very difficult to be, first of all, reporting during that period and to hold on to the talent. And I know how the revenues were severely impacted. And I think the media industry itself did extremely well. And the advertising spends were the first one to be cut by many companies. And right. I think we have done well together.
Thank you so much. I think the future is even more about collaboration than it is today. It's a collaborative economy. It's a contactless/hybrid economy. And it is a compassionate economy. Thank you, Mr. Thiagarajan, for talking to BW Businessworld and BW People. And thank you for chairing the BW People L&D Awards. The winners that we will see tonight are really representative of the best practices happening across the corporate India. So thank you for choosing the right kind of winners, and really their stories will become inspiration for others to emulate. Thank you so much, Mr. Thiagarajan, for your words of encouragement. And the future belongs to those who are agile and who are resilient. And you're right that the Indian colleagues, the workers, everyone in the corporate sector at all levels showed resilience. The healthcare workers, the government itself was very proactive and I would say very, very responsive to what was needed during COVID. So we must be grateful to the government. I think the government has done a reasonably, I would say more than reasonably, a good job to be able to tackle COVID. And with the vaccination drive in full progress and Blue Star also playing its role in the vaccination drive, we are grateful to you again for serving the country apart from doing your business. So thank you so much. We're grateful to you for your presence and for your comments and remarks. Thank you. Good evening.